Hello students, I hope you all are doing very well. So let us start with a very new and interesting chapter, a letter to the headmaster. Lying on the bed, Swami realized with a shudder that it was Monday morning. So Swami, who is a little boy, he realized that today is Monday morning and he has to go to school again. It looked as though only a moment ago it had been the last period of Friday and already Monday was here. So Monday आ जाता है और स्वामी is very angry, is very frustrated कि उसको वापस से स्कूल जाना पड़ेगा अब. He hoped that an earthquake would reduce the school building to dust, but the good building, Albert Mission School. So students, this is the name of Swami's school, Albert Mission School, had withstood similar prayers for over 100 of years. So now Swami is thinking कि काश कोई earthquake या भूकंप कुछ ना कुछ आ जाए and the whole building is reformed to dust. So at 9 o'clock, Swaminathan wailed. I have headache, his mother said. Why don't you go to school in a jhatka, so that I may be completely dead at the other end? Have you any idea what it means to be jolted in a jhatka? Have you many important lessons today? Important? Wah! Which means now what is happening, students? That the mother and son, they both are having a conversation or maybe arguing with each other. Swami is saying that I don't want to go to school and his mother is saying that you should get up in a jhatka. What do we mean by jhatka? In one single breath or in a one single movement, एकदम से खड़े हो जाओ and go to your bathroom and wash up, freshen up and go and leave for the school. Important ba. The geography teacher has been teaching the same lessons for over a year now, and we have arithmetic, which means for a whole period we are going to be beaten by the teacher. Important lessons. So now Swami is saying that I don't have any important lessons to learn in the school today, so I have an headache, so I want to sleep here only. And mother generously suggested that Swami might stay at home. At 9:30, when he ought to have been shouting in the school prayer hall, Swami was lying on the bench in mother's room. His father asked him, have you no school today? So now Swami's father came around 9:30 and he asked him that why aren't you in school? You were supposed to be shouting prayers in the prayer hall. Why aren't you at school at this time? Headache, Swami replied. Nonsense, dress up and go. तो स्वामी के पापा कहते हैं कि all this is nonsense, just dress up and go to the school. Headache, loaf about it less on Sundays and you will be without a headache on Mondays. So now Swami's father is saying that roam around or play less on Sundays so that you don't have any headache on Mondays. Swami knew how stubborn his father could be and changed his tactics. I can't go late to the school. So now स्वामी ने क्या किया? स्वामी ने अपनी चतुराई लगाई और सोचा कि मेरे पापा ऐसे तो नहीं मानने वाले, और उन्होंने कहा कि I can't go late to the school. मैं इतना लेट स्कूल को नहीं जा सकता. I agree, but you'll have to. So स्वामी के पापा कहते हैं कि मैं मानता हूँ कि तुम्हें इतना लेट स्कूल नहीं जाना चाहिए, पर आज तुम्हें जाना ही पड़ेगा. It is your own fault. You should have asked me before deciding to stay away. What will the teacher think if I go so late? Tell him you had a headache and so are late. He will beat me if I say so. Will he? Let us see. What is his name? Samuel. Does he beat the boys? He is very violent, especially with the boys who go late. So now Swami is saying that there is a teacher who will beat me if I go late. Please let me stay in bed and I will go tomorrow, and he is very violent, especially with boys who go late. Some days ago, a boy was made to stay on his knees for a whole period in a corner of the class because he came late, and after that he got 6 cuts from the cane and had his ears twisted. I wouldn't like to go late to Samuel's class. So now Swami is saying that मुझे सैम्यूल की क्लास में लेट नहीं जाना क्योंकि वो सभी बच्चों को जो लेट आते हैं उन्हें एक केन से, मतलब एक लकड़ी से, एक छोटी सी स्टिक से मारते हैं और मुझे ये पसंद नहीं और मुझे मार नहीं खानी, तो आज मैं घर पर ही रहना चाहूँगा। वो अपने पिताजी से ऐसे बोल रहे हैं। If he is so violent, why don't you tell your headmaster about it? So now Swami's father is saying that अगर वो इतना ही violent है, so why don't you complain about this to your headmaster? They say that even the headmaster is afraid of him. He is such a violent man. And then Swami gave a lucid account of Samuel's violence. How when he started caning, he would not stop till he saw blood on boy's hand, which he made the boys press to his forehead like a vermilion marking. Swami hoped that with this, his father would have made to see that he couldn't go to his class late. So now Swami is convincing and he is giving characteristic of Samuel, that Samuel is so violent and if I'll go to the class, he will beat me up. So I don't want to go to the class. And he is twisting and turning and creating his own story about Samuel's character. He became excited. What do these swine mean by beating our children? They must be driven out of service, I will see. So now Swami's father got very agitated after listening to all the characteristics of Samuel, and now Swami's father is saying that मैं देखूंगा कि कैसे ये हमारे बच्चों को इतनी वायलेंटली मार सकते हैं एंड दे विल बी ड्रिवन आउट ऑफ सर्विस, और उसे नौकरी से निकाल दिया जाएगा। मैं इस चीज़ की पूरी जानकारी लूँगा। The result was that he proposed to send Swami late to his class as a kind of a challenge. He was also going to send a letter with Swami to the headmaster. No amount of protest from Swami was of any avail. Swami had to go to school. So he had to go to school now, and there was no amount of protest which could stop his father. By the time he was ready, his father had composed a long letter to the headmaster, put it in an envelope and sealed it. So Swami's father put it in an envelope and sealed it. What have you written, father? Swaminathan asked apprehensively. Nothing for you. Give it to your headmaster and go to your class. So now Swami's father has written a long letter and he has given it to Swami to give it to the headmaster. Have you written anything about our teacher Samuel? Plenty of things about him. When your headmaster reads it, he will probably dismiss Samuel from the school and hand him over to the police. So I have written so much that he will be dismissed from being a teacher in the school and he will be handed over to the police. What has he done, father? Well, there is full account of everything he has done in the letter. Give it to your headmaster and go to your class. You must bring an acknowledgement from him in the evening. So now Swami's father want an acknowledgement from the headmaster. Swami went to the school feeling that he was the worst perjurer on the earth. His conscience bothered him. He wasn't at all sure if he has been accurate in his description of Samuel. He could not decide how much of what he had said was imagined and how much it was real. He stopped for a moment on the roadside to make up his mind about Samuel. He was not such a bad man after all. Personally, he was much more genial than the rest. Often he cracked a joke or two centering around Swami's interactions, and Swami took it as a mark of Samuel's personal regards for him. But there was no doubt that he treated people badly. His cane skinned peoples. Swami cast his mind about for an instance for this. There was none within his knowledge. Years and years ago, he was reputed to have skinned the knuckles of a boy in first standard and make him smear the blood on his face. No one had seen it accurately. But year after year, the story persisted amongst the boys. Swami's head was dizzy with confusion in regards to Samuel's character. Whether he was good or bad, whether he deserved the allegations in the letter or not. So Swami is very confused that whether he deserved the allegations or not, and whatever he has said to his father, was it all correct or not. He needs to see, and he is very guilty that he coiled a very huge story, a very imaginative story about Samuel's character to his father. Swami felt an impulse to run home and beg his father to take back the letter. But his father was an obstinate man. So what do we mean by obstinate? He was a very rude person and he knew that he is not going to take his letter back. As he approached the yellow building, he realized that he was purging himself and was ruining his teacher. Probably the headmaster would dismiss Samuel and then the police would chain him and put him in jail. For all this disgrace, humiliation and suffering, who would have been? Swami shuddered. The more he thought of Samuel, the more he grieved for him. The dark face, his small red streaked eyes, his thin line of moustache, his unshaved cheeks and chin, his yellow coat, everything filled Swami with sorrow as he felt the bulge of the letter in his pocket. He wouldn't deliver the letter to the headmaster immediately, but at the end of the day, to that extent, he would disobey his father and exercise his independence. There was nothing wrong in it, and his father would not know it anyway. If the letter were given at the end of the day, there was no chance that Samuel might do something to justify the letter. Swami stood at the entrance to his class. Samuel was teaching arithmetic. He looked at Swami for a moment. Swami stood hoping that Samuel would fall for him and tear his skin out. But Samuel merely asked, "Are you just coming to the class?" "Yes, sir." So now he has reached the class and now Samuel is asking that, "Are you coming to the class just now?" क्या अभी अभी तुम क्लास में आ रहे हो? ये Samuel पूछता है स्वामी से. "Yes, sir. You are half an hour late." So Samuel says that you are half an hour late. "I know it." Swami hoped that he would be attacked now. He almost prayed, "God of Tirupati, please make Samuel beat me." ताकि वो अपने आगे आने वाले subjects ना miss कर पाए. So Samuel is saying that it is very great of your father to send you to school at least. This seems to impress Samuel. "Oh, you poor worm," Swami thought. "You don't know what my father has done for you." He was more puzzled than ever about Samuel's character. So now Swami is very confused that is Samuel even good or bad? He cannot make a decision in his mind. "All right, go to your seat. Have you still a headache?" "Slightly, sir." Swami went to his seat with a bleeding heart. He had never met a man so good as Samuel. The teacher was inspecting the home lessons, which usually produces, at least according to the Swami's impression, scenes of great violence. Notebook would be flung at the faces, boys would be abused, caned and made to stand on the benches. But today Samuel appeared to have developed more tolerance and generousness. He pushed away the bad books, just touched people with the cane. He almost thanked God for chance. "Swaminathan, where is your homework?" So now Samuel, his teacher, is asking, "Swaminathan, where is your homework? Come bring your homework here." "I have not done any homework, sir," he said bluntly. There was a pause. "Why, headache?" asked Samuel. "Yes, sir." "All right, sit down." Swami sat down, wondering what had come over Samuel. The period came to an end and Swami felt The last period for the day was again taken by Samuel. He came this time to teach them Indian history. The period began at 3:45 and ended at 4:30. Swaminathan had sat through the previous periods thinking accurately. He could not devise any means of provoking Samuel. When the clock struck 4, Swami felt desperate. Half an hour more. Samuel was reading the red text, the portion describing Vasco da Gama's arrival in India. The boys listened in half languor. Swami suddenly asked at the top of his voice, "Why didn't Columbus came to India, sir?" So now what is happening here, students, that स्वामी बहुत कोशिशें कर रहा है सैमुअल को एंग्री करने की. क्यों? ताकि उसे साबित हो जाए कि जो कुछ भी उसके पापा ने उस लेटर में लिखा हुआ है वो सब कुछ सच है सैमुअल के कैरेक्टर के बारे में. पर सैमुअल बहुत ही अच्छे से बर्ताव कर रहा है और उसने स्वामीनाथन से उसका होमवर्क मांगा. जब स्वामीनाथन couldn't produce his homework, he was calm and at peace. और सैमुअल ने उन्हें कुछ नहीं कहा, स्वामीनाथन को कुछ नहीं कहा और उसे वापस अपनी सीट पर भेज दिया. फिर लास्ट पीरियड में सैमुअल वापस आए उन्हें पढ़ाने के लिए और इस बार भी स्वामीनाथन चाहते थे कि उन्हें एंग्री करे, कुछ ना कुछ ऐसा कहें ताकि उनके टीचर बहुत ज़्यादा एंग्री हो जाएं और वो उन्हें मारें ताकि वो ये लेटर जाकर हेडमास्टर को दे सके सबूत के साथ कि सैमुअल का कैरेक्टर सच में वैसा है. He lost his way. I couldn't believe it. It is unbelievable, sir. Why? Such a great man, would he have not known the way? Don't shout. I can hear you quite well. So now Swami is shouting at the top of his voice. Why? Because he wants to make his teacher Samuel very angry so that he can go to the headmaster with evidence that, see, Samuel has beaten me so hard and and the blood is coming out of my veins or the skin, or this is the evidence and I am producing the letter with it. I help it. Shut up and sit down. So now Swami is shouting on the top of his voice to make his teacher angry, and now Samuel is saying, sit down and shut up. Swami sat down, feeling slightly happy at his success. The teacher threw a puzzled, suspicious glance at him and resumed to his lessons. His next chance occurred when Shankar of the first bench got up and asked, "Sir, was Vasco da Gama the very first person to come to India?" Before the teacher could answer, Swami shouted from the backbench, "That's what they say." The teacher and all the boys looked at Swami. The teacher was puzzled by Swami's obtrusive behavior today. What do we mean by obtrusive? It means ajeeb. It means strange. "Swami, you are shouting again." So now Swami is shouting again, and when a boy in the class asked a question which was that, sir, was Vasco da Gama the first person to come to India? So even before the teacher could answer, Swami is saying that that's what they say, that he was the first person to come to India. "I am not shouting, sir. How can I help my voice given by God?" The school clock struck a quarter hour, a quarter more for the class to be over. Swami felt he must do something dramatic in these 15 minutes. Samuel had no doubt scolded at him and snubbed him, but it was hardly adequate. Swami felt that with a little more effort Samuel could be made to deserve dismissal and imprisonment. The teacher came to the end of the session in the textbook and stopped. He proposed to spend the remaining few minutes putting questions to the boys. He ordered the whole class to put away the books and ask someone in the second row, "What's the date of Vasco da Gama's arrival in India?" Swami shouted up and screeched, 1648, December 20th. You need not shout, said the teacher. So now Swami is shouting again when the teacher is asking him a next question. He asked, Has your headache made you mad? क्या तुम्हारे headache ने तुम्हें पागल कर दिया है? Why are you shouting at a very loud voice? Please, you need to calm down. Samuel is telling this to Swami. I have no headache now, sir, replied the thundered brightly. I am going to put a few questions on the Mughal period. Among the Mughal emperor, whom would you call? Sit down, you idiot. Swami thrilled at being called an idiot. If you get up again, I will cane you, said the teacher. Swami sat down, feeling happy at the promise. The teacher then said, I am going to put a few questions on the Mughal period. Among the Mughal emperor, whom would you call the greatest? Whom the strongest and whom the most religious emperor? Swami got up as soon as he was seen. The teacher said empathetically, Sit down. I want to answer, sir. Sit down. No, sir. I want to answer. What did I say I'd do if you got up again? You said you would cane me and peel the skin off my knuckles and make it press it on my forehead. All right, come here. Swami left his seat joyfully and hopped on the platform. The teacher took out his cane from the drawer and shouted angrily, Open your hand, you little devil. He wagged 3 wholesome cuts on each palm. Swami received them without blenching. After half a dozen, the teacher asked, Will these do, or do you want some more? Swami merely held out his hand again and received 2 more, and bell rang. Swami jumped down from the platform with a light heart, though his hands were smarting. He picked up his books, took out the letter lying in the pocket and ran to the headmaster's room. So now what is happening, students? That he argued with his teacher, he argued with Samuel and Samuel beat him और Samuel ने क्या किया? उन्हें cane से मारा हाथों पर. And now Swami is very happy because he has got the evidence with the letter that Swami has beaten him. And now he is happy and he is running to the headmaster's room. He found the door locked. He asked the peon. So what happened now? He found the door to be locked. Where is the headmaster? Why do you want him? So now the peon is asking, why do you want to meet the headmaster? My father has sent a letter for him. He has taken an afternoon off and wouldn't come for a week. You can give the letter to the assistant headmaster. He will be here now. Who is he? Your teacher, Samuel. He will be here in a second. Swaminathan fled from the place. As soon as Swami went home with the letter, father remarked, I knew you wouldn't deliver it, you coward. So what happened here now, students? That Swami went to the headmaster's room, but he found it to be locked, and he asked the peon that where is headmaster? So the peon answered that the headmaster has taken an afternoon off, so you can give this letter to the assistant headmaster. And now Swami realized that the assistant headmaster is actually Samuel, and he cannot give this letter to Samuel, which is describing his whole character. So Swami went to his house, and now Swami's father is calling him a coward, that I knew you wouldn't deliver this letter. I swear our headmaster is on leave, Swami began. His father replied, Don't lie in addition to being a coward. Swami held up the envelope and said, I will give this to the headmaster as soon as he is back. Father snatched it from his hand, tore it up and thrust it into the waste paper basket under his table. He muttered, Don't come to me for help even if Samuel throttle you. You deserve your Samuel. So this brings us to the end of the chapter, students. I hope you all learnt and enjoyed this amazing lesson. Thank you.